every time we read also, it was like we were like listening to the songs in between to feel the arc. And they also recorded demo versions of all the songs while I was still writing, and then when we had those, it was also easier to have them find a place in the structure. But then during editing, everything changed. So what can I say?
Yeah, he did the job of the music is just very important in the movie, and it carries the emotions, and it gives a relief from the emotions as well. It's double, and that's great about it, and you need it.
I guess the big part in the beginning of the work was to find which song is gonna go with which situation or something. Yeah. So that was good. But then afterwards, we fucked that up in the editing.
Yeah.
That's mostly jazz idea of composing more than bluegrass idea of composing. You know, feel totally free to change the composition every time you play it in some way.
Something similar too. Huh?
Yeah.
He can talk about it.
But bluegrass is jazz music of the country, because it's the same. It's with improvisations, and you have a melody line, and then you start with it, and somebody sings it, and then it stops, and then they started improvising. And every time they improvise, it gets a little bit freer and freer until you can't even hear the melody line, and it tells stories. It's very simple. It tells stories, and it's acoustic. You can hear the instruments, and you don't hear the distortion of the instruments. That's great about it, and it's a minor story with a major key, and that's great about it, and it's truthful. It has a lot of integrity for me, and that's why I like it so much. Yeah.
But I didn't really like the music in the beginning, but I learned to love it because it's so it's the truth. And it's very simple, as the words can go right into your heart and they can sink in. You understand them very easily, and in that way I do think it's perfect music for this movie.
Yeah, you need a good story, and this story is very straightforward too. It's very straightforward. It's in an incredibly intuitive structure by editing and by his writing, but it's straightforward. It's simple. It's understandable, and it's filled with empathy and intuition, and that's the metaphor that you can use for the music too. So, yeah.
About the soundtrack, the CD with the soundtrack, played by Broken Circle Breakdown Bluegrass Band. What can you tell us about the CD and the music that is in it?
It went very well in Belgium. It's the #1 like for 14 weeks now in the list of best sold CDs, and that's great, because before that bluegrass music or country music wasn't even and so it's great, and
he's responsible for Belgium being addicted to bluegrass now.
Yeah, I have something to do with it. Yeah, but we all have, but we have just a very big, talented band. We have the Nightingale of Flanders is singing, and it's just great. It's good. It's good enough to stand the comparison with the American stuff. So that's mainly, and that's thanks to Felix too, because he really went for it. Has to be very, very good.
Some guy told me, a Greek journalist, that it's people are listening to it in Greece. He downloaded it, and
Are you kidding me?
It was like in Greece, people are already listening to this music.
You cannot say anymore you don't like this kind of music. You are
Say it anymore, but it's a good story. But you know, we kicked Titanic, the soundtrack of Titanic. We kicked it off of its throne in Belgium. We did that.
Before that, it was the best sold soundtrack in Belgium,
okay,
and now
so
it's ours.
fantastic.
Yeah.